The UK car sales have been having good forecast, or good results in terms of the sales. Now, what is the conversation here? Why is this happening? Now we've seen a bad year last year, obviously, regardless of what industry you've been. I mean, apart from the fact that if you've been in digital or tech, right? And considering the fact that when you talk about cars and transport, the rental prices, insurance prices, there's been a ton of fluctuations around all of this because of the fact that, the consumption for it has not been at the highest, right? And then when you consider the fact that, when it comes to UK, there's a lot of talk about, what the finances are going, where the finances are going, and then talking about how last year in April, England has basically been looking to boost the figures as compared to last year, and then looking at how in comparison to last year, the lockdown, where the volumes are moving, where, if it's cars, if it's vans, if it's new vehicles, if it's old vehicles, right? Now, I'm Tim. I'm on the buzz with you all the way till 3 p.m. And I'm talking everything business, tech, entrepreneurship regarding what you need to know in the UK, right? So we've got a conversation around UK car sales and how they've been having a positive push, right? And I'll be back with you real quick after showing you what real Relax Radio is and who we are. That's right. We're Relax Radio. We're on the App Store. We're on Play Store. If you want to reach us, if you want to watch or catch up with our content, even if you don't catch us live, you can always reach us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's just a matter of hitting that bell icon or the follow icon, so you are updated and you don't miss another live from us. So now, talking about understanding what the conversation around the car sales is now with the UK. Basically, British car sales have risen more than 3,000%, right? Now, this is over last year. I mean, we've seen a big drop over the car sales if it is the consumption of vehicles, if it's using transport, and how the insurance has been basically plummeting. Now, whereas last month, this is April 2021, 400 and 141,000 vehicles have been looking at being registered, and this is by the Society of Motor Manufacturers Traders, right? And this is up from about 4,500 in April 2020. Now, that is a big number. I mean, if I mean it's super to see different industries coming back, catching up, because I mean, this is what we need, right? This is what we need to give the people a sense of hope or a sense of positivity, and just to recover from last year. We know that it'll take at least 3 to 4 years to recover from the unexpected pause or the lack of demand in multiple industries that the pandemic has had. But then looking at a 3,000% rise, this is super numbers. Now, 4,000 last April, but 140,000 this April. Now, that is big numbers. I'm super happy to see this. I mean, I'm not personally involved in the automotive industry, but this is just good news, right? Now, talking about the lowest level since February 1946, this was somewhere around 4,000 again back then. Now, 1946, like I said, now we have been talking about how, if you are looking at the Barclays boss, right? Now he's been also talking about how, when it comes to the boom in the economy, we're looking at a boom as big as the 1948, right? So it's time to start investing. If you're looking at passive income, we were talking about investing with Chris Jones just a while back. So if you are keen on understanding how we are looking at going ahead with this, just stay tuned. We've got a lot of conversation around this. So if you also want to ask us questions, feel free to message us. You can message or you can call us on 07852 473 473. And also we are now talking about how, when it comes to the conversation around dealerships, looking at reopening these to the public. This is in April 12th, right? And how an England wide delivery, if you're looking at clicking and collecting and online services, and then how these facilitated purchases are looking at coming across. There's plants that have continued to operate within the COVID safe precautions. There's measures taken in place, and also there's a lot of when you're talking about cars, actually, I mean, people, I mean, the fact that this brings a whole domino effect on an industry. It's not just the cars, right? It's not just the sales, but you're looking at a multiple things. If it comes to the rentals, if it comes to the insurance, there's a lot of conversation around this. And if it comes to the fuel, if it comes to even maintenance, garages, there's a lot of these that are actually involved in the transport sector, right? So there, I mean, when you come to a point where a whole industry's demand just pauses, and this is out of preparation, or prior understanding as to what or where this situation has come from. I mean, it's a point where no one is really aware of. No one is really looking at recovery. So I mean, a rise of around 300%, 3000% from last year. I'm seeing super positive hope for this to keep going up. Now if it comes to even the vans, right, now there's a lot of conversation around how the communication around from last year's lockdown, basically on a lot of channels. Now if you have been going to work, if you've not been if you've been working at home, there's not been as a high demand. Now you can actually let us know if you've been working from home, or if you've been looking at moving towards office, because the rental prices have also had a major fluctuation. So looking at recovery from after the coronavirus, I'm super happy to hear this or see this happen. The sales across Europe have basically seen positive results since 1970s, right? And if you're looking at demand markets, if you're looking at the bounce back rate, it's super positive. And since last year, 78%, there's been a lot of rise, and it's looking real positive. We're looking at a big boom in terms of where this incline is looking at going to. So now Ireland and Spain have been seeing a plummet of 96% last year. But then if you're looking at the UK and Italy, that's a 97%. Now the least impacted areas were Scandinavia. If you're looking at citizens who have been moving along more relaxed area during the pandemic, or even if you're looking at electric and hybrid sales, right? Now the registrations were not as badly hit, but if you're looking at 1 in 5 new motors have been the electric cars. So I mean, I saw somewhere on another article that they basically talk about how if it was another time, if it was another study, basically had spoken about how 2 out of 5, it's again apart from this 1 out of 5 study, were either electric or hybrid. That alone is a game changer, right? So coming to understand, if you're looking at 78% of rise in the registrations from UK or from Europe. Now there's been a lot of noise in this industry. So there's a lot of electric cars looking at coming back up, because we are talking about an industry shift, and talking about how a lot of people were talking in the lines of how important the economy is, or how important the environment is. So if you're looking at pushing for a conversation around the environmental, the eco-friendly vehicles or the eco-friendly transportation methods, there's a lot around this. So obviously in terms of the incentives just around the transport sector, there is a lot of conversation that people are listening to, or people are watching or paying attention to, rather, right? Even when it comes to putting the money where their mouth is, people are looking at investing more in towards cleaner energy, or looking at more conversations around if it's electric or hybrid conversations, right? Cars, rather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another quick video on who we are and what we do. This is Relax Radio. I'm your host, Tim. I'm with you on the buzz all the way till 3 p.m. Now, don't go away. I want you to stay tuned here. You can always, call us up. You can call us on 07852473473. That's 07852473473. And then let us know what your take is in terms of where the automotive market is going to go. So I'm going to show you a quick video on who we are, and I'll be right back with you. I'm your host all the way till 3 p.m. We're back with you on the buzz with more content, more talk around how the UK is basically recovering in terms of the car sales, or the conversation around where the automotive industry is moving. Now, if you're talking about how the suggestions for May, or if you're looking at in Europe how the recovery is looking at pushing for more showrooms or increasing the demand. Now, talking about numbers, basically in Norway, we're looking at 34%. And then looking at Denmark, there's a 37%. If you're looking at Sweden, there's a 37% there again, and then a 39% in Finland. Now, in Romania, there's a 50%, and it's going all the way down to Hungary, which, have every single here, but they're mentioning the lines of the Estonia. Estonia is about 64%, and then Europe is Luxembourg is basically at 79%. Now, this is all in the European area region, and then for England in general, for France rather, it is at 89%, and then in the UK it's at 97%. Now, talking about the year to date, or understanding how since 2019 it's been, there has been a 49%. But then looking at it, the poster is saying that if you're looking at a car decline, this is only up to April this year. But then afterwards, all the European nations are looking at coming to a point where only India is seeing a bigger decline in newer car sales in April. But this is only in comparison to Europe, right? But then with 100% nosedive in terms of where the registrations are going, this month alone, this is April, right? And talking about how JTO Dynamics, these guys were talking about how Europe lost a major spot where in Spain or in Ireland they were down 96%, but then Italy, the UK, they plunged about 96%. And then it came up to a point where JTO Dynamics commented saying that the lockdown across the globe significantly you know made an impact towards this huge drop in registrations. I mean, it's obvious, right? When people are worried about when they are going to get their next paycheck, or when they're looking at earning again, when how much of money they need to save for that instance, you're not going to be really spending, apart from you're not really going to be getting a new vehicle, are you? Because if you are looking at getting a new vehicle, you're not going to be too invested transport, because everything is pretty much from home unless you go to work. So, I mean, there might be a bit of a delay in going back to work. There is another conversation around that, but I'm going to get to that tomorrow. But talking around the conversation as to how when people talk about coming back to work, there's a lot of conversation around if people want to come back to work, and trying to understand if now UK businesses, for instance, have braced for a surge in litigation claims. So apart from that, a lot of resilient, sustainable supply chains that are central to the future of UK businesses, right? Now, talking about this, you're looking at sustainable UK businesses, right? And when I say sustainable businesses, this is in the lines of agriculture. This is in the lines of transport. This is in the lines of like I say always, you're looking at transport, agriculture, construction, and then when it comes to manufacturing as well, because it's not just it's not, you can't really break it down as at a macro level. You need to, I'd say, you need to break it down into numbers and then specify as to which areas you really need to pay attention to. So now I'm here on the buzz with you all the way till 3 p.m. I want to know what your take is on this conversation, because when it comes to increasing your car sales, you can actually let me know if you are around car dealership, or if what your take is on it with regard to the transportation sector. What is actually happening? Are we actually going towards a positive boom, or are we not, right? So let us know what your take is. I mean, I'm super curious to understand what your take is in terms of how far we're looking at going with the transportation industry. Do you think garages can stay open, if it is in car detailing, if it is in car complementary, basically automotive complementary businesses, right? Automotive industry complementary businesses, if it is Now, if it comes car detailing, if it comes to, fuel, if it comes to insurance, these things are basically, all complementary. They all work together. You can't really work around it without each other as well. So that is why I really say, when it's complementary, it's important to pay attention to what is happening with the biggest players. What is the market really doing? So this is why, if you're considering getting into the business of, vehicles in this time, don't I wouldn't recommend you. I wouldn't recommend, jumping right into it just because the car sales are booming 3,000% from as compared to last year April, right? But you can always let me know what your opinion is. You can always let me know what your take is on this. Now, my number is 07852473473. I can tell you what the conversation is, what we want to do in terms of, letting you know how we're looking at moving forward with the car industry. But I'll be right back with you after this break. We're talking to you about more UK sustainable businesses that are